And let me just switch and welcome fellow Toastmasters to a cozy workshop regarding hybrid meetings. Me and Rafael are doing hybrid meetings for our club Invicta Toastmasters since the beginning of the pandemic. In June, July last year, the venue where we do our meetings, ANJ, Associação Nacional de Jovens Empresários, has great conditions and asks us to do the hybrid sessions. And then we start doing the hybrid sessions. One thing that we have learned, it's work in progress. We are always trying to get a better session, and we are always improving and asking feedback for our fellow members and guests. One of the persons that have taught me a lot about hybrid sessions is Rafael Marques. He was a great leader of the club, and he's also a great hybrid master. So I will pass the stage to Rafael Marques, and I kindly ask you a big, enormous round of applause for the best hybrid master that I know, Rafael Marques.
Thank you very much, Águia. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the warm welcome. And I will start by sharing my screen, however successfully that's gonna go. I don't have sound to share. I assume you can all see my screen. Thank you very much. So the essence of this workshop is a continuation of what has been done since June, July of 2020. We have done one presentation regarding hybrid Toastmaster sessions in November of 2020 for the whole district. And it felt like this needed a revamp. It felt like this needed to be shared once again to all the district, to everyone that wants to learn and grow in a hybrid Toastmaster session context. Let me start by sharing what the objective of this workshop or its structure is going to be like. First, I'm going to share the most basic considerations that we have when organizing a hybrid Toastmasters session. I'm going to go in depth in each of these three big topics. Then the show. This show is more regarding what Invicta has done, what Invicta Toastmasters Club has experienced, the problems that it overcame, and have the opportunity to also contrast with what other clubs have done in their hybrid sessions, the things that we can get from hybrid pure online sessions, and we can incorporate into hybrid sessions. And then we'll have a talk, a discussion moment at the end of my presentation. Sérgio, Águia, in the end, we'll have a surprise for everyone, and this will be available for everyone that wants to access it. Let us start with the considerations regarding everything that anyone that wants to organize a hybrid Toastmaster session should have and should do. I've learned that over this past year, things should be roughly divided into four great categories. The rules and guidelines that everyone should and would be helpful to abide by. Then the equipment, the amount, the complexity, the simplicity, the minimum and maximum requirements, the priorities themselves, the room layout, how the equipments should be connected, and how you can make the most out of your space to give the best experience to everyone that is in your session. And ultimately, the session flow, the way that a session should be organized, or how the moment should be happening along the way as the session progresses. Let's first look at the rules and guidelines. The rules and guidelines, as I said, there are rules, there are things that we have to abide by and have to use as they are enforced. And then there are guidelines, things that we believe that are good for the good experience of a hybrid session, and that if you don't do it like this, please do your best and share how you do it so that we can all learn together. First, let's go by the rules. One very clear thing is that Toastmasters International 1 year ago was very reluctant in promoting a hybrid session. They wanted to keep us safe, and that is the most important thing. And we have also tried to replicate that intent in every single other rule that we have, because Toastmasters International, as the name says, is an international organization. And then for us as members, as club goers in all, we just have to abide by other rules. So your country has rules, either it be Portugal, Spain, Morocco, China, United States. Every country has rules. And specifically inside each country, then each location, each part of the country in the United States, each state has its own set of rules that we should always abide by. Then the space where you meet, or the space where we meet, it is also crucial that we follow their rules, because if they're not comfortable with us having hybrid sessions, just as Sérgio Águia kindly presented Ange, they wanted us to meet, they wanted us to promote, and then with that knowledge, we also helped them get more people to go to their spaces and use hybrid sessions. And ultimately, and perhaps even the most important of all, is that members have a voice. They should be heard, because it doesn't make sense to have a hybrid meeting if you're not going to have members that want to participate in person in these meetings. If they only want to stay online, what you should be having is online meetings, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's simply a different experience. Then we go to the guidelines. And the guidelines, more and more, they're becoming less mandatory. That's why they're not rules. But as guidelines, what we feel that is important, specifically in Invicta, is that we still maintain some social distancing. And we'll see this when we show how we set up a room. Then everyone should be wearing a mask, everyone that goes to the room. And then the specific of what happens when someone is on stage. And in the past, we all used to shake hands and even give warm embraces to each other. That's not what should be happening, or that's not what people still feel comfortable doing. So what happens when someone is on stage? When they're passing the stage, they should be passing the stage with their elbow or their foot to the next speaker. If there is more than one person on stage, everyone should have a mask, because if we reduce some sort of social distancing, it's helpful that we have the mask on. And when you're alone on stage, and this is very important, you may take your mask off, but no one can or no one should force you to. But the truth is, we in Invicta, we always take the mask off, because there's the clear difference in sound that we make. One guideline that we feel that is very helpful for us is the warm clothing, because the space needs to ventilate. With this COVID going around, it's very important that we have this ability to freshen up the air. Wait. Then, moving on to the equipment. One very important thing, and perhaps the most critical thing for a lot of clubs, is what equipment should we get? What should we do with that equipment? And it may seem like one single question, but to us, it feels like two different questions: the equipment, and then how to organize that equipment. I'm going to share what Invicta has. So we always have one portable computer, one laptop with a microphone and Zoom installed, a wide angle camera, one projector, and hopefully a flat surface to project on, a wireless mouse or a mouse pad or a keyboard, mouse pad, something like that. And then as a separate category, and we'll see why this is a separate category, we have a smartphone with camera and zoom installed, a tripod, and a power bank. And this is why the room layout now should be something separate. So we start with the speaker. Let's start with the most basic element of a Toastmasters session. The speaker, in order to be connected, needs to have a computer connected to the World Wide Web, and that computer should be recording that speaker on stage. That camera we have there is an accessory we have that helps us get a more wide-angle view of the stage instead of a smaller frame that only shows a small part of the person. Then we have the projector, which hopefully should be projecting onto a flat screen. And the way that we do it in Invicta then is that we have a tripod, a camera, and a battery pack or a power bank connected right next to the flat screen so that it can look at the audience. This is our setup. This is how we have done almost every session. And just for a little bit more context, we have the keyboard on the side that helps our Zoom master always control what is happening on the flat screen right there. Just so that everyone has the nomenclature of what we work with and what we use. You can take a second, take a picture, no problem. This will all be recorded and then shared with everyone. And now this is how the two things work together. And this is something that is specific to Invicta because we have our space, because we have our equipment that works like this. And let's start. So here is how we set up a room. We usually do it always like this, that we have the flat screen and the word of the day and the, wait, stop, exactly. And the banner side by side. And then this is how socially distant room looks like. This is how the members can be in the room and feel safe, not being glued to each other. Then we usually set up the tripod, as I said, right next to the flat screen so that there's no interference with the smartphone and the power bank. We go about setting up the laptop, the projector. Speakers are also nice, but definitely not mandatory because in the room, you can usually hear everything. And let me stop. Oh, it's going to stop right there. So this is what we want to achieve, to have one camera looking at the stage that is delimited by the placement of the word of the day and the banner. And on the other camera, we want to be looking at the audience. Because a very important thing that we cannot forget is that it's not hard for me to be at home and speak to a camera, but right now I'm seeing you. In a hybrid scenario where, for example, only one person is at home, if no one is on stage, I'm not seeing anyone. So it's really critical. From the beginning, it has been very critical for us to be able to see the audience. And this is why we have another camera looking at the audience. The second camera does not have sound connected, and that's what we're going to see right next. Because as I connect that camera, I went back. 1 second. As you see, I'm not joined in audio. So it's just a camera that can see the stage, but it's just a camera to share the audience. And because I think we've had enough of this clip, I just want to share how the room looks when it's complete. And it's something like this. This is just setting up the room. Now we should look at how the session should actually go on. And I have good news. What we do in the roles don't change. Every single thing is the same. So we don't have to learn anything to do the good job that we always do in our sessions. But I have some not so good news. I'm joking. These are just some appointments, some things that we should always keep in mind. Just as it is important for a speaker on stage to be able to see the green, the amber, and the red card, it's also important that if a speaker is at home and the timekeeper is in session, that this timekeeper knows or finds a way to share the color of the card with the speaker at home. This is why the placement is important. What we do in Invicta is that we have the timekeeper really close to either the stage camera or the audience camera as a way to have like a blocking image or a blocking color to share the time with the speaker at home. Then the Zoom Master. The Zoom Master in the session has all the Zoom Master permissions. The only note or the only adjustment I would say is healthy for the conduction of the session is that if someone is speaking at home, we want to have a speaker view. We want to give a highlight to that person that is at home. But if someone is on stage physically, we want to see a gallery view. That way, the speaker in the room gets to see all the audience in the room and all the audience that is at home. And finally, on stage. And this is something that I don't think everywhere has been noted, but I feel it should be kind of basic, kind of a basic principle, is that if someone is on stage physically, it is important to pay attention to both audiences in a fairly proportionate manner, which means that if we have 5 people in each audience, we should look to the camera or to the audience almost 50-50. If only one person is in the room and 10 people are at home, we shouldn't ignore the 10 people at home, just as we shouldn't do the opposite. If we have 10 people in the room and 1 people at home, we should not ignore the audience in the room. It is something that has been regarded as fairly important when we've done hybrid sessions, especially with other clubs. This would be the exemplification of what we were talking about. So at this point, our member Germano is speaking and that person is on stage. It's the center stage. We are just looking, just paying attention. And now Germano will pass the stage to another member, Cesco, and they are highlighted. I wanted to change. And then the opposite. Right now, what we'll see is that Germano, our Toastmaster, who is at home, will pass the stage on to Sylvia, which is in the room. So what we do is change the view to gallery view. As you can see, this way Sylvia has the ability to see everyone in the session. No, next. And now this is something that we definitely didn't do a year before. We definitely did not do this 1 year ago because we didn't have this information. We didn't have 50 sessions or more to test all the issues. So in essence, these are the 5 key aspects. The worst thing that can happen to you, and this goes for hybrid sessions or online sessions, you don't have your internet. You're not connected to your club. So a really good alternative is that you have mobile data ready on your cell phones, on special equipment, but find a way to never not have internet. Internet is what makes your session connect. Then preparation is the key to success. I mean it almost as a cliche, but it actually is the most important thing, because if you test your sound, video, and the screen sharing before the beginning of your session, the likelihood that you don't have those hiccups, oh, can you hear me? Oh, can you see me? Oh, why can't I share my screen? That's disruptive, and that's as a normal session would be. We want to get that out of the way. We want to get that in the beginning before the session even starts. Then, and I've seen this in a couple of clubs, sound is much more important than image or video. As you can imagine, if I close my camera right now, you can keep listening, you can keep seeing the screen I'm sharing. But if I cut off my sound, you will only have this support. And if I didn't have a presentation, you will only see my face. I happen to not speak sign language, and I'm sure that you on the other side happen to not know how to read it or understand it. So sound is much more important than image or video. Then this issue is actually fairly common, and we strived really hard to not have it, is the fact that some clubs, and perhaps even us in the beginning, use too much technology. Don't use more than what you need. Don't overcomplicate things for a number of reasons, but just by itself, if you need a camera, use a smartphone, not a laptop. If possible, or use just a camera, but it's harder to connect to Zoom. And then simplify your setup. It's not just about technology, it's about knowledge. It's about knowing that what you have, what you can give to your members, to your club, it's not just to be the best, it's something that you can actually make sure that once the person that was in charge of it is not there, you can have someone else do it. You can share this knowledge, you can transfer this knowledge, so you can give it continuity. It's almost like the roles in Toastmasters, the officer roles, that you shouldn't just keep the knowledge to yourself, you should learn how to share it. That's what I mean by this simplifier setup. We have now finally concluded the show. concluded the consider. We're going to look now at the show what Invicta has achieved, other clubs have done. And let me start by saying that Invicta has been on a wild ride, because you have seen how we set up our room, our stage, because we've done it in middle-sized rooms. We have given awards to people that are physically in person. We have given out awards to people at home, and we can make jokes about it. We can make little gags with just giving, making sure that the other person is receiving it. We have done this in the middle-sized rooms, the small rooms that we can see here. We've done this in gigantic auditories. And as you can see, it's not very different from what I was telling you, the setup. And then we've done this outside. As I said, have your mobile data ready, have your imagination go wild, make sure the dog speaks as well. Everyone can participate. There's no reason why you can have fun while you're doing something challenging. And the fact that you can just spice it up. We have done Halloween sessions where everyone just came, and as you can see, like, the mask is becoming less and less of a barrier between us. It's becoming a prop, just like everything else is a prop. Let your imagination run wild. Here are some of the things that Invicta was doing, is not doing anymore, which is the participation survey. We used to have a weekly form to know that the people could participate, or they know the rules, the up-to-date, when we had participation limits, when we had new guidelines by the country or rules by the country or the location. This is something that we have, and it feels like it's becoming somewhat incorporated. And because the number of people, the restrictions aren't as relevant, we are no longer doing it, but know that this is a tool that you can use if it applies to you. Also, we used to have more changes to the session rules. That, as you can see, the timekeeper and the placement and the Zoom master should be in the room or not. Yes, but we used to have more complications. That the more, as I said, the more you simplify, the easier it is to share your knowledge. But I have a lot more topics there. And finally, I'd like to share or contrast what Invicta has been doing, or Invicta has done, and share with what other clubs were doing or are doing. And it's curious that the more you get to know other clubs, the more you experience what they're doing, the more you learn, and you think this could actually be something that we could incorporate and would simplify our life. For example, I know that Sevilla used to work with Bluetooth speakers and a heavier technological setup so that every single part of their session would be configurable. I think that at least for Invicta, this didn't feel like a natural solution, but I can understand where Sevilla actually has the people to do this, and they can just take this extra step to make sure that everyone is involved in their own way. And very recently, Cluta, the club from Aveiro, they introduced they are starting just now with the hybrid sessions, and the timekeeper has a laptop to display the colors in the background. This is what we usually do or usually did in the online sessions, but we actually never thought of having, even if the timekeeper was in the room, to have the timekeeper with a laptop just to change the colors. It's something that we never came up with, and it could actually be a very good idea, because that way the speaker will always know from the laptop screen what the color would be, and reduce the risk of someone at home not seeing the timekeeper in the room, or someone in the room not being sure if the timekeeper is here or there. We have these options, and we are considering them. And maybe ultimately, and most importantly, every club does things differently. I've visited at least 10 different clubs. I've visited clubs in Canada, in the United States, Spain, the south of Portugal, the north of Portugal. We've went to see. Remember that every club does things differently. So ask everyone for how they would do, how we could learn from them. And don't be shy. Don't gatekeep your knowledge. There's absolutely no point, because we are a community. We are groups of people trying to learn from one another. And just as I'm sharing here today, I advise you to share or ask, and just be ready for this exchange. And finally, I would like to do two special mentions. One, to the magazine for Toastmasters International, the April session, the month of April of 2021, where we were highlighted that we were trendsetters in the field or in the scope of hybrid sessions. And the month afterwards, that there was a magazine article for the technology that should be used in hybrid meetings. We are also somewhat featured in there, but these are resources that are publicly available for everyone, and you should use them. Thank you for coming to this presentation. We are now going on to the talk part. I will now stop sharing my screen.
Give me the stage for the surprise. Give me the stage for the surprise.
I can. We can talk, but I think that Sérgio Águia, very in line with some of the things that were shared today, has a very powerful surprise to share with the district or everyone else in the world. Sérgio, the word is yours.
Thank you, Rafael, and thank you for all the people that are here. I'm going to share with you a surprise. Rafael was talking about the showing what you are doing, to ask for help, to talk to other clubs. So there is a team, me, Rafael, Jorge Poças, and José Pereira. We are building something for you, something for the district. I'm going to share my screen and I want to tell you what. Okay, are you seeing Toastmaster website? Okay.
Yes.
Are you still? So we are going to present you with something that I'm very proud to show you. Wait a minute. I'm going to show you the hybrid corner. In the hybrid corner, we are going to share a lot of information. We are going to share about the rules and everything that Rafael was talking about, the best practice, how to set up a room, we have hybrid video help, we have guidance and rules, we have venue layout and hybrid tips, and have what we are doing during the meeting. This is an ongoing website. This is one ongoing page. So I'm gonna, for example, tips. There's a big set of tips for you to use in your hybrid meetings. Also, we will have hybrid corner, we will have the equipment page. Over here, we have a set of equipment. For example, if I go to microphones, what we are going to do, we are going to have a very quick and easy access of reviewing of equipment. Good thing, improve things, and 3 or 5 stars. In this part, the equipment, we are going to ask the presidents of the clubs that are doing hybrid sessions. So they can send us information about, I'm gonna give an example, about a webcam that you are using. What is good, what could be improved, and how stars do you do, how many stars do you do, and a page where you can buy that webcam, for example. And the same thing for microphones. Good thing to improve, how many stars do you rate, and information where you can buy the microphones. And why are we doing this? Because it's very important for us to show the knowledge, to help other clubs. So clubs that want to start their hybrid meetings can go to this corner and in a very fast and easy way can see the things that other clubs are doing. And we also have Toastmaster articles. Rafael said, don't do gatekeeping of information. And for us, for the clubs, for our district and clubs outside our district can improve, it can be better. We have to help each other. We have to share our information and we have to try and show what we are doing. So I will invite you to go to this page, to send an email for this, send us an email or contact me through WhatsApp. Tell me what we are doing, tell me what you are doing, tell me the review of your equipment. And during the next month, I will contact every single club so they can say what they are doing, so they can share with me the information and I can put the information on this hybrid corner. Use this corner, use it, and let's make our sessions great and make our hybrid sessions the best hybrid sessions ever. Thank you. And this was a surprise. And also this workshop will be on this corner, and also this PowerPoint presentation will also be on this corner. It's going to be an ongoing page for us to share the information and grow. Thank you. And now question and answer time. Give us your questions and we'll give you our answers.
Yes. Please, if you have any questions,
raise your hand and then we are going to answer.
If not, we can go for coffee, talk about the life.
You don't have any questions? Okay. Otame was like 1 split second faster than Danielle. So Hotmane Give me the question.
Ladies first, always.
I didn't saw the ladies. Okay.
Okay. Who wanted to talk?
The other person was Daniel. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. Okay, so go. Okay,
no,
Daniel.
No, Otmane, please, ask your question.
All right. I mean, it was not a question. I mean, basically, I'm Otman Laraki from the Casablanca Toastmaster Club, and we are with Samir and all the team in the organization committee for the Fall Summit. So we are thrilled to see. I know that Sérgio is coming. I know that Danielle is coming. So Joaquim, Rafael, Diana, we want you to come. We want everyone to come to Morocco for the first time. A great workshop. I'm sorry I was late a bit, but definitely we will practice all what Sérgio, our amazing expert, has done. So Sérgio, I will steal you once you arrive at the airport, because I will need your help to set up all these hybrid meetings for the conference room and for all the 4 workshop rooms. And it will be a great opportunity to make in practice all what you have shared. And the amazing website, really amazing. I mean, just like all this ongoing learning, we will have. I mean, it's all the questions we've been asking all in one place, and that we can all use. So thank you all. Thank you, Sérgio. Thank you. I don't know who's maybe Rafael works with you also on this amazing job. Okay, well, congratulations to all the team that work on this tool. But until it is practiced, I mean, it's no use. And I believe that the Fall Summit will be the first big experience that we're gonna use all this knowledge and put it in practice, and hopefully we'll get some feedback. So I just want to stop by and say congratulations to everyone. Thank you for the help, and also to say to ask the people that didn't register yet. We're 2 weeks to go, so we want you all. We want you hybrid, but also we will be in person, which is gonna be a change for us all. Believe me, even in Morocco, we don't meet with Moroccan clubs in person for a long time. So it will be a great opportunity to meet all of us. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next one.
Can I've got a ton of notes. You can check my paper, but nice. Quick stuff. So I was, just some of my thoughts. There should be, it was my thought, absolutely non-hybrid roles, which I came up with only one, but I think definitely just up for discussion. The Toastmaster should never be hybrid. Question for you, of course, if you agree or not, but it's just my thoughts. And I was going to share with you that we're going to test in a different club, a new hardware in order to try to keep it simple, and asking if you heard about it, the Facebook portal. Nothing to do with Facebook. Of course, the product name is called Facebook Portal. It was when I bought one for my parents, an old couple. Of course, it has to be simple to use. I was very happy that it includes a Zoom client, which I was not expecting. I knew WhatsApp and Messenger, of course, would be there, but it has a Zoom client, and I tested. And the great thing about that Facebook Portal hardware is very simple to set up, comes in like 3 different flavors. Only the hardware, one with included tablet, 2 different sizes, and the camera follows and pans. And, Rafael, the trick is with a wide angle, but then lots of software to recognize faces. And we're going to test it next Monday. So I will give feedback on that as well, but wondering if you've thought of different stuff, trying to simplify in terms of hardware, and depending on investment costs, of course. For my first, here are my notes for my first intervention, but I don't want to talk too much. So one topic at a time. So first, the strictly non-online or non-hybrid role. You mentioned the Toastmaster. I used to have that belief until I was happily proven wrong by one of our members, Germano. Is fairly articulate in doing the role of a Toastmaster while online, and it is a restriction, or it is an extra effort that we would be inputting into the agenda organization, the role flow. The whole session as a whole would actually suffer in making it a restriction of that sort, because it actually, in my mind, it felt more natural to just have the person in person, but it actually doesn't have the benefit as long as the person is actually qualified to be a Toastmaster and organize or let the session flow as it always should. There is actually no cost benefit. There is no benefit to just making it in person. Regarding the Facebook portal, I don't know it. I tried to quickly Google it, and I only found the actual Facebook solution. But it only feels like a tablet with a camera.
Can I say something about that? Danielle, I will kindly ask your help. In the tab, in the hybrid corner, you have in the equipment, other equipment. When you use that, please send me a feedback so I can post it on the website and other people can go and see. And what I'm doing, and this is very important, I'm giving credit to the people that review the material and giving credit to the people and the club they are into. And this is very important for us to make a most connected community. So when you do that, please send me. I'm gonna put on the web page, and it's very important. That it's very important what you said.
So just to finish the thought, it felt like a tablet with a camera, maybe with some special connectivity. But from what I can say, in line with what I was presenting, it is an additional cost. So it's not necessarily just a smartphone or just a laptop that we use for other things. It's maybe a device specialized for this type of activity, and it may not be the solution that most clubs can enjoy. From that perspective, I wouldn't support it. Mostly because, and I wanted to mention this in my presentation, and I'm not going to say I forgot. I'm going to say it was not as important as I need it to be right now, which is, and let me share my screen again. Once I find the link, I click link. Is that exactly? So I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to see what I meant by having a specialized equipment. So I'm going to focus on this image. Let me copy the image and show the image in all of its glory. Do you see what we have here? We have a room with one laptop, one phone, two phones, one camera, one tripod, and a board that has a specialized camera with two screens. And this is the thing that goes the most against what I was trying to convey. They speak about equipment. What they are not talking about is the cost of having too much equipment. If you're introducing a new piece of hardware or technology into your sessions, it needs to be available for every single person that is going to set up a hybrid session. So I really recommend that you keep it as simple as possible. However, if it is a good experience, the best approach, and I'm going to give the word to Sérgio in a little while, the best approach is quite like what happened to Zoom and Toastmasters, where we got a deal. We could actually pitch it to Toastmasters International and try to see if they can make a partnership, something that could bring clubs closer. If it's that good, it should go all the way. But in my opinion, we should always keep things as simple as possible. Águia, you had something you wanted to say?
One of the things in the article is talk about that microphone that you put on your jacket. Normally, those microphones are very expensive, and the clubs don't have the money to buy those microphones. So it's important to to, if your club has a lot of money, perfect. You can have the best material, the best quality, but it's important for the clubs to have material that they can afford. For example, I'm going to pick again the microphone. If you are using the microphone, the one that you put on your jacket, and it's a very cheap one, please tell us, and also so I can put the link on the corner, so the members that want to get the material can buy, can know how to buy, can know the prices. So the prices is very important for the material for the hybrid sessions. So we always try to get the lower prices out of the material. And you
Sérgio,
can.
Do you mind if I comment? Do you mind if I comment on that?
Yeah, sure.
That's exactly the point. But again, I was asking if you knew about it, but I'm going to give you feedback. Of course, the point of Facebook Portal, the product, is that if people are buying, you know, a full-on microphone, etc., and a follow me camera, that hardware in one go does it all. So that was the point of it all, to save some money and not having extra equipment and then coordinate all those. So that was it.
Perfect. Just to finish this topic, and the other thing is, like Rafael said, always think about the person that you are going to give the material, the person that you are going to give the technology. Try to pass, like we do the handover on our roles in our officers. As officers, we do the handover. It's very important for us to do the handover to other members, so the other members can quickly come to the stage and be Zoom masters. It's very important for the clubs to have 2, 3, or 4 people ready to be Zoom masters. It's very important.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to say something about the follow me. So one of the things that I feel are missing in terms of the live bit of the speaker, so the stage, is that that's why I was talking about the follow me. If you have a set camera, right, the people are not used to being framed while up, right, and being in a camera. So what happened in a previous session that I was with a GoPro is that the first speaker ran off of you know the frame, and so I actually had an idea of putting a carpet on the floor so that speakers would know, you know, they shouldn't leave the carpet, so they know that be framed. So having someone like a camera, something following you, at least it's better. And I feel that we're maybe limiting speakers when they're live back as it was then, that they are very still. And then we're not using the best of both. When you're on Zoom, you're limited to this. But if you're on stage, I feel from what I've been seeing that people are still on stage stuck to Zoom because they know they have a camera and they don't know how far away they can move. I hope this makes sense. So
yeah,
having that follow me.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. And that's actually why we're recommending the wide angle camera, so that the camera captures the whole stage, and it's very natural to understand where you're not supposed to go, because if you leave that space, you're on top of the audience. So you should literally, you're either on stage or you're on top of the audience, and it never feels natural to be on top of the audience. And we've had different sessions, and if the camera is very well placed, and it's not hard to do that, we don't have that issue. But I understand where your concern comes from, of course.
I think we should move on to this topic. We are focusing a lot on this topic, and we should go to the other topics. So to finish this topic, Danielle, try it and send us the feedback. It's the best way for you to show your idea. It's the best way. Another question? Raise your hand if you have another question. No other questions? Oh, I have one question over here. How many of the members in here are doing hybrid sessions? Joaquin, can you turn on your microphone? Joaquin, tell us a little bit about your experience. It's very important to hear another clubs and to hear what we are doing. It's very important. So Joaquin, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Sérgio. So what we are doing is very close to what Rafael shown us in his presentation. The only difference, we do not use a mobile phone. We have a second computer because the facilities we are using to have these hybrid meetings, they have a computer. So we then bring a second computer, laptop, and is the only difference. All the rest is very similar to what you are doing. So, but instead of having a camera with power bank, we just have a second computer with a small camera connected. And we use the laptop and the camera in the laptop as to cover the stage where the speaker is acting. So what could be improved in the comparing to what the Rafael shown us is the camera in the laptop sometimes is not as good as it should be to better cover the stage, maybe with a more wide angle, more angle camera. So besides that, it's very similar.
Thank you.
And the experience is good. So we are all happy with. We have had some failures, as Rafael explained, or the internet connection went down or things like that, these small things. But other than that, everything is going okay. Just, and going back to the matter of hybrid sessions, yes or not, when we are in these sessions, half people in a room and half people at home on the computer, sometimes we feel that a little bit disconnected. So as we are not a group, it's a little bit strange, the sensation, but then we get used to it. And then in the end, within some time, we'll just go back to presential meeting.
Thank you, Joaquin. Thank you. And later on, I'll gonna contact you for you to share with me the information so I can put your information on the website, the material that you use and some tips that you have for the meetings. And another question, who here is thinking about going hybrid? Not, okay, thank you, Otame. And the ones that are not thinking about that, think about that. It's easy. It's really easy to do hybrid meetings. It's not a big boogeyman. It's so easy. You just need to do it and to do it and to do it. And one thing, it helps us to train about to improvise stuff. So do hybrid meetings. Rafael, the stage is yours.
Did you want to say improvise or improve?
Improved, sorry.
Okay. Because there's a small difference.
I know.
No, I have to agree with Sérgio. Do hybrid meetings and don't be afraid to fail. Do you know what the best argument to say to our guests to join our clubs is? This is a gym. What happens badly here is supposed to happen badly here because we do it badly here so we can do it well in other places. It's the same thing. Right now, we or everyone is doing experiments. They are failing. They are messing up. We did it. We failed many times, but that's where you learn. That's where you grow. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to grow. Just fail together with us as a group.
Thank you, Rafael. Thank you, everybody. Well, I love this last sentence. Let's fail as a group because we will improve as a group. So a big turn on your microphones, turn on your microphones, turn on your I want to hear some noise. I really want to hear some noise. So, and a big round of applause for all of us. During the weekend, the workshop will be uploaded on the Hybrid Corner. Please share this workshop, share the Hybrid Corner, and I will contact you. Contact me, share your experience so I can put on the website, and we can help the other colleagues and the other clubs. So thank you for this hour, and thank you, Rafael, and thank you all the members.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank you for the help.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'll say less so I can close the door. Bye-bye.